Hello guys, welcome to my class, Business classes. Today we are going to take up an important lesson from your prescribed textbook, Flamingo. The name of the lesson is Going Places by A.R. Burton. গতিকে আজি আমাৰ বিষয়টো হ'ল এটা লেসন, এটা পাঠ, এটা গুৰুত্বপূৰ্ণ দৰকাৰী পাঠ। পাঠটোৰ নাম হ'ল গোয়িং প্লেচেছ। তোমালোকৰ ফ্লেমিংগো নামৰ পাঠ্যপুথিখনৰ পৰা লোৱা, ৰিটেন বাই A.R. বাৰ্টন। গতিকে এতিয়া আমি এই বিষয়ে আলোচনা কৰিম। তোমালোকে তাত থকা ক্যাৰেক্টাৰ্ছবোৰ চোৱা, বিভিন্ন ক্যাৰেক্টাৰ্ছ আছে এই ষ্টৰিটোত। এইটো এটা ষ্টৰি, শ্বৰ্ট ষ্টৰি। তাত বহুত ক্যাৰেক্টাৰ আছে। ক্যাৰেক্টাৰবিলাক সফি, জেন্সি, জোফ, কেনেকৈ আছে ডেনি, কেজি, ডেৰেক, সফিজ ফাদাৰ এণ্ড মাদাৰ। এইবিলাক কেইটামান ইম্পৰ্টেণ্ট ক্যাৰেক্টাৰ। এবাউট দ্য অথৰ, লিখকজনৰ বিষয়ে। A.R. Burton is a modern writer who lives in Zurich and writes in English. In the story Going Places, Burton explores the theme of adolescent fantasizing and hero worship. The story revolves around a teenage girl, Sophie, her family and friends. She is a daydreamer. She is given to adolescent fantasizing. অর্থাৎ অত্যধিক কৈশোৰৰ অত্যধিক কল্পনা প্ৰৱণতা যাক কোৱা হয়, which always lost in her dreams of becoming rich and sophisticated. To in reality, she is destined to become at best a worker at the nearby biscuit factory. The story suddenly twists up when Sophie makes a wild imagination of meeting Danny Kesey, a famous Irish footballer, a prodigy. She also makes a story in front of her brother Joe that Kesey will come to meet her, Danny Kesey that means, come to meet her on a fixed day as per a promise he had made to her. Sophie and Jency are two teenagers who are coming back from school. They both are small school children. Their economic background is very poor. Both of them belong to lower middle class families, and their environment at home is deplorable in a sense. Sophie is lost in her imagination of owning a boutique, a designer shop. A boutique is a designer shop, a beautiful shop where a particular object, particular piece of cloth is displayed and kept for selling. So she imagines of owning a boutique, then becoming famous like Mary Kwan, a famous fashion designer of that time. During that time, Jency tells her not to dream big, as it requires a lot of money which they don't have. To this she replies that she will become an actress. First she replies that she will become a manager in some factory. She will earn a lot of money. Then she will open a boutique for her, and if she cannot do that, she will become an actress, or 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 a more sophisticated she will take up a more sophisticated modern profession like a fashion designer. Gen Z is down to earth realistic. Gen Z is down to earth realistic. She knows where she is. She knows her condition, economic condition, social condition. So she doesn't dream unrealistic dreams. But Sophie is always given to adolescent fantasizing, given to daydreaming, given to wild imagination, unrealistic imagination, and also hero worship. বীর পূজন যাক কোৱা হয়। গতিকে এইখিনি কথা সিহঁতৰ মাজত ডিফাৰেঞ্চ আছে, কনষ্টিটিউশ্যনেল ডিফাৰেঞ্চ মিনছ। গতিকে আমি লাইন বাই লাইন অলপমান পঢ়ি চাওঁ আমি। When I leave, Sophie said, coming home from school, I am going to have a boutique. Gen Z, linking arms with her along the street, looked doubtful. Takes money, Soph, something like that. I'll find it, Sophie said, staring far down the street. Take you a long time to save that much. Well, I'll be a manager then. Yes, of course, to begin with, till I have got enough. But anyway, just how it's all going to look. They wouldn't make you manager straight of Soph. I'll be like Mary Quant, Sophie said. I'll be a natural. They will see it from the start. I'll have the most amazing shop this city's ever seen. Boutique is a small shop selling fashionable clothes. This story begins with a conversation between two teenage girls, Sophie and Gen Z. Sophie entirely lives in a world of wild imagination, whereas Gen Z is totally opposite to her. Sophie imagines of owning a boutique one day where she can sell fashionable clothes. Gen Z feels that it requires a lot of money to open up a boutique. She also tells her that it will take her a long time to save that much amount. To this, Sophie replies that she will work as a manager and then she will save enough money. Jessie interrupts her, saying that nobody will hire her straight up to the managerial post. Sophie then changes her plan and decides to be a fashion icon like Mary Quant, the famous fashion designer. And she also adds that she will have the best boutique that no one has ever seen in that city. Gen Z, knowing they were both earmarked for a nearby biscuit factory, became very sad. She wished that Sophie wouldn't say these things, which make her sad. When they reach Sophie Street, Gen Z said, it's only a few months away now, Soph. You really should be sensible. They don't pay well for shop work. You know that. Your dad would never allow it. For an actress, now there is real money in that. Yes, and I could maybe have the boutique on the side. Actresses don't work full time, do they? Anyway, that or a fashion designer, you know, something a bit sophisticated. And she turned in through the open street door leaving Jansi standing in the rain. If ever I come into money, I will buy a boutique. Who? If you ever come into money, you will buy us a blessed decent house to live in. Thank you very much. So earmarked. What is the meaning of earmarked? Reserved. That means both the girls are destined to become workers in the they are reserved for the nearby biscuit factory. Sophisticated means it's not ordinary. It's not ordinary. It's somewhat cosmopolitan sort of. Jansi here is a realistic person. Jansi tries to explain the reality of their life. But Sophie won't listen. Sophie, when she leaves Jansi standing in the rain, she was still murmuring the same sentence that if she gets money, she will buy a boutique. Someone in her family teaches her, saying that if she ever has money, she would buy a good house, decent good house for their family. They have no house, proper house to stay. Sophie's father was scooping shepherd's pie into her mouth as hard as he could go. His plump face still grimy and sweat marked from the day. She thinks money grows on trees, doesn't she? That said little Derek. Derek is a younger brother. Derek is Sophie's younger brother. Small Derek, hanging on the back of his father's chair. Their mother sighed. Sophie watched her back, stooped over the sink and wondered at the incongruity of the delicate bow which fastened her apron strings, the delicate seeming bow and the crooked back. The evening had already blackened in the windows, and the small room was steamy from the stove and cluttered with the heavy-breathing man in his vest at the table and the dirty washing piled up in the corner. Sophie felt a tightening in her throat. She went to look for her brother Geoff. Scooping here means eating. Father was eating. Actually some sort of mutton. Grimy means dirty soil. From his walk, he came straight from all this walk. So her father was tired and he looked dirty soil. Stoop means shoulder bend forward. Kuza hai mark. Side means ha munya kar ha huta. Incongruity means inappropriate. Crooked means bent beka hoi thaka, kuza hoi thaka. Cluttered means untidy. Litter sare bole hisor itu bostu pori ase. Sophie's father was eating a shepherd's pie. His face was unclean with dirt and sweat. Her younger brother Derek said to his father that Sophie thought that money grew on trees. He also felt that she was not realistic. Her mother, who was busy with her work, took a deep breath. Sophie noticed her walking in the kitchen. Her mother had stooping shoulders that were bent forward. She had tied an apron on her back, which was bent and not in the right shape. Maybe she looked so because of the heavy burden of work on her. And it was turning dark now, and the house was full of steam. and the kitchen was messed up with litter. All sorts of things were scattered, and Sophie felt uncomfortable. So she went up to look for her brother Joseph. Joseph was kneeling. He was kneeling on the floor in the next room, tinkering with a part of his motorcycle over some newspaper sprayed on the carpet. He was 3 years out of school, an apprentice mechanic, traveling to his work each day to the far side of the city. He was almost grown up now, and she suspected areas of his life about which she knew nothing, about which he never spoke. He said little at all, ever voluntarily. Words had to be prized out of him like stones out of the ground. And she was jealous of his silence. When he wasn't speaking, it was as though he was away somewhere, out there in the world, in those places she had never been. Whether they were only the outlying districts of the city or places beyond the surrounding, in the surrounding country, who knew? They attained a special fascination simply because they were unknown to her and remained out of her reach. Kneeling means be in a position in which the body is supported by knees. Atukora. Tinkering means repairing. Apprentice means learner. Hikaru no hikaru. Suspected means gaze, think. Fascination means captivation. Mohabishto koritula. Joseph was in the next room. Joseph was in the next room, sitting with her bent knees. He was repairing some part of his motorcycle. He was a apprentice mechanic who left his school some 3 years back. He had to travel long distances in order to do his repairing work, do his mechanical work. Sophie was sometimes doubtful about his brother, as he didn't speak much about his life. Therefore, she always felt jealous of his silence, because she wanted to know about the places that he used to visit. She thought that there could be some distant places of the city, or maybe some countryside outside the city, outside the nearby districts. All these thoughts were so captivating because they were far away from her reach. Perhaps there are also people, exotic, interesting people of whom he never spoke. It was possible, though he was quiet and didn't make new friends easily. She longed to know them. She wished she could be admitted more deeply into her brother's affections, and that someday he might take her with him. Though their father forbade it and Joseph had never expressed an opinion, she knew he thought her too young, and she was impatient. She was conscious of a vast world out there waiting for her, and she knew instinctively that she would feel as at home there as in the city, which had always been her home. He expectantly awaited her arrival. She saw herself riding there behind Joseph. He wore new, shining black leathers, and she a yellow dress with a kind of cape that flew out behind. There was the sound of applause as the world rose to greet them. Exotic, foreign, not native, foreign. অদ্ভুত যিখিনি সচৰাচৰ দেখা পোৱা নাযায় তেনেকুৱা ধৰণৰ লং মিন্স উইচ affections fondness love forbid means ban prohibit বাধা দিয়া নিষেধ কৰা instinctively without conscious thought সচেতনভাৱে চিন্তা নকৰাকৈ instinctively হোৱা কেপ ৰেপ applause means clapping প্ৰশংসা সূচক ক্ল্যাপিং যেটো সেইটো applause বুলি কয় Sophie imagined about her brother's personal life she thought that her brother never spoke about his life but maybe he knew some non-native people who were very interesting she thought that he might knew many people who were very interesting though she knew that her brother didn't have many friends still she felt that it was possible that he might have some special friends so sometimes she wished she could become close to her brother so that he would take her out with him she knew that her father would never allow her to do so even her brother considered her not big enough to go outside so she dreamt that she imagined herself riding with Geoff her brother wearing a shiny black jacket and she wearing a beautiful yellow dress with a stole flying behind her as they would ride his motorcycle she dreamt that people stood up to welcome her by clapping when she rode with her brother so we'll have to finish our class here because it will be too long in the second class we'll try to finish the remaining it's a long the story is long quite long so we'll have to finish the next part of the story in the next class so we will end off here I hope you all have understood what I have said so far what I have discussed so far about Going Places a beautiful story by A.R. Burton so in the next class we'll try to finish the story and also try to analyze and explain it further thank you so much see you then